Hello friends, and welcome back to another What's for Dinner. Yay! This is one of your guys' favorites and most requested videos, so I'm glad that I can bring it to you. So, we have lots of yummy recipes today, but before we get started, I want to remind you guys to subscribe if you're new, hit that notification bell so you're notified every time I upload, with this and don't forget yummy to give this video bacon a like ranch if you pasta enjoy these salad. types of videos. This is so good, you guys. I promise if you make it, you will not be disappointed. The ingredients are super simple. I will leave the link down below for the full recipe, but basically you're going to need pasta noodles, you're going to need bacon, tomatoes, cheese, green onions, peas, and I think that's it. And you're also going to need a packet of ranch seasoning mix and some mayonnaise and milk. So I just started off, I cooked my pasta and I drained it and I ran some cold water through it. And now I just chopped up my veggies and I'm going to add everything to the bowl. And so for the actual dressing mixture, you're just going to follow the directions on the pack of ranch mix. I added some mayo and then some milk, and then I added a little extra milk to get it to like the runny consistency that I wanted. So it's super easy. I also added like salt and pepper at the end, but you guys, this is delicious. My husband made me make it 2 more times since this video for him to take for lunches and just to have at the house. So I definitely recommend that you guys give this a try. It's super, super yummy, and I actually think it's better like the next day after it's set for a while. So good. My mouth is watering watching this right now. So that was super, super simple and super easy, and like I said, you guys, it was so, so good. Alright guys, this is real life dinner tonight. It's not always glamorous here, I'll tell ya. This is actually my dinner, and I'm having the pasta salad that I made earlier today. It's a bacon ranch pasta salad and it is amazing. I'm having some bean dip with some spicy Doritos and a sandwich and a green onion on the side, and that's literally my dinner. So, Pax already ate. He had a sandwich with avocado and then with a side of avocado and banana. And Dan hasn't eaten yet. I'm not sure what he's gonna have, but if I remember, I'll show it to you guys. But that's what I'm having for dinner. I'm gonna go eat, so. Hey guys, welcome back to another What's for Dinner. It is New Year's Eve currently, and I am just making up some dinner. So we had some leftover brisket that needs to be used up, so I thought that I would make some brisket nachos. So to start off, I am just cooking up about 4 pieces of bacon. Right now I just cut it up into slices and I'm just frying that up, and then I'm going to warm up the brisket and then pretty much assemble the nachos. So I will show you guys what it all looks like. Okay, so I'm just starting off by chopping up my brisket that I have. It's been in the fridge, as you can see, so it was super easy to cut. So I just chopped that into little cubes, just like little bite-sized pieces, because I just want to warm it on the stove and then add a few things to doctor it up a little bit. Okay, so now that my bacon's done, I just spooned out my bacon bits and left some of the grease in there to warm up the brisket in the bacon grease. I thought that would be good and add a little extra flavor, and boy, it did. So I'm just going to mix that up, and then I'm going to add some onions in there to cook with it. And I didn't get it on camera for whatever reason, but I ended up adding some barbecue sauce in there, some garlic powder, and I just added a few seasonings to doctor it up and warm it through. And so now you're going to see me assemble the nachos. I started with my chips, and then I'm going to add the brisket on top. And I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit of cheese on there, not too much, but just a little because we're gonna add more later. And then I'm gonna add the bacon. And then I just started throwing things on here, if I'm being honest. It was kind of an experiment. There's no recipe that I followed, so I added some green onion, some white onion, some cherry tomatoes, some like beans, I think they were pintos, and corn, some queso fresco cheese. I wanted to try that out, so I put that on there. And then I added some just jalapenos that we had in the fridge. I love jalapenos. Half that has jalapenos is my half. And then I topped it with this, it's like a cilantro crema, and I got that from Costco. Added a little bit more barbecue sauce, and I topped it with cheese. And we just popped that in the oven until it was bubbly and warm, and it was so good, you guys. I highly recommend it. Nachos are a favorite in our house. They're so easy, and you can change it up and just add whatever you have in the house, and it turned out delicious. Okay, so we're moving along. We are making Alice Springs chicken. Now, you may not know what this is. I didn't know what it was until I seen somebody else make it, but it is basically a copycat. It's from Outback Restaurant. They call it Alice Springs. And so I am starting off by seasoning my chicken with salt, pepper, garlic, some Creole seasoning, some lime seasoning from Trader Joe's, and I think that was it. And so I'm just flipping it over and doing the same thing. And then my husband is popping that on the grill until it is all grilled up, and then we're gonna add our toppings to it. But yeah, this meal is actually super, super good. I was highly impressed when I ate it. It was delicious. So I definitely recommend that you guys have this chicken. Also, just a side note, on their recipe, they add sauteed onions and mushrooms. I did not do that this time, but we ended up having this same thing last night, and I added the mushrooms and onions, and it was delicious. So if you like onions and mushrooms, I suggest adding them. But now I am just prepping some potatoes. I'm going to do some air fryer baked potatoes. So I just washed them, poked holes in them, added a little olive oil and salt to them, and I'm going to pop them in the air fryer. I think it was like 400 degrees for like 20 to 30 minutes. I can't remember. But the skins got super crispy on there, and they were delicious. Okay, so now we're assembling our chicken, and we just put it in a pan, and you preheat your oven. And I made some homemade honey mustard. If you guys want a recipe on this, I can show you. It is super easy and super good. So you just top your chicken with the honey mustard, and then at this point you would put, instead of the bacon, you would put the onions and mushrooms and then the bacon, but we didn't do that this night. So I'm just adding my cooked bacon, and then I'm going to top it with cheese, and I'm going to pop it in the oven and just let it melt. Since I already cooked the chicken, I don't have to worry about it being cooked through. So we just waited until the cheese was all melty, and that was it. And we also had this with, like I said, a baked potato, and then we also had some of that pasta salad as well. And you guys, it is delicious. I know it kind of sounds like a weird combo, but you have got to try this recipe. It is so, so, so yummy. I will leave a link down below of one that I kind of followed. Like I said, I made the honey mustard homemade because I didn't have any. So if you guys want that recipe, I can definitely give it to you. But it is so yummy. Give this a try. You will not regret it. Okay, now we're moving on to a recipe that I just made up as I went along. There is no recipe for this. So I'm starting off by browning up a pound of the Jimmy Dean spicy sausage. So I'm just gonna brown that up and get that all cooked away, and then I'm also have a pot on to boil. So I'm gonna add some just like elbow macaroni that I had. I had 2 like half boxes, so I put them together. And basically I just winged this recipe, and it turned out super yummy. I'm actually really proud of it. So fast forward, the sausage is done. I'm adding a can of diced tomatoes and a can of tomato sauce. and then about half of a can of Rotel. Now, if you didn't want this spicy, you could obviously not use spicy sausage or Rotel. It's totally up to you and your preference, but I like it spicy, and it wasn't really that spicy, honestly. I ended up adding like red pepper flakes to my individual bowl because I like it to have like a good kick. But you're just going to stir that in together, and then I'm going to add some seasonings. I think I added salt, pepper, garlic, some Italian seasoning, some parsley, and I want to say that that was it. And I stirred that together, and then once that was all done, my pasta was done, so I drained that and set it aside until I needed it. Okay, so now I am just going to add, I just eyeballed it, but I had some half and half that I needed to use up. So I just added that into my sausage and tomato mixture, and I just eyeballed it. I probably added like half a cup or something, and I just stirred that around. It's going to give it a really good creamy texture and kind of mellow out the tomato. So I added that, stirred it around, and then the last thing I added was some grated Parmesan cheese that I had. So I added that to this mixture, and then I added it to the pasta and ended up adding more cheese. And then I topped my bowl with cheese, so it's super cheesy. But yeah, that was it for this recipe. It was delicious, you guys. It was so good. It was a hit in my house, and I will try and type out all of the ingredients down below so you'll have those. But yeah, give this recipe a try. Don't be afraid to get in your kitchen and experiment. I like to just find what random stuff that we have in our house and try and make a meal out of it, and it doesn't always turn out great, but this time it did. So definitely give this recipe a try. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I am bringing you guys some homemade brownies. Yum, I've actually never made brownies homemade, so I'm giving it a shot, and so I wanted to show you guys the ingredients that you're gonna need. I'm gonna grab most of the stuff I have already measured, but I'm just gonna go through everything with you. I'm gonna read it off. So you're gonna need a cup of butter melted, so I have the 2 sticks right there. And then 2 cups of sugar, 4 large eggs at room temperature, a teaspoon of vanilla, a cup of the cocoa powder, and it says to use the Dutch blend. It's better, so I got that kind. Let's see, 1 cup of all-purpose flour, which is right there, some baking powder, 1½ teaspoons, and then 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And so now we are just going to follow the directions and mix everything. I'm going to leave the link down below if you're interested in making these. But we're gonna get to it and I'll let you guys know how they turn out. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so I melted my butter and then added the sugar in there, and that's what is in the mix right now. So I'm just mixing that up until it's combined, and then I'm just gonna add the eggs and vanilla and mix that together. And then we are gonna add the flour and then the cocoa powder at the end. But I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys, spoiler alert, these brownies are so good. Best brownies I've ever had. I will never buy box brownies again. They are delicious. Now, I will say, if you don't have the Dutch cocoa powder, that is totally fine. It just gives like a richer taste, but you can use just regular cocoa powder and it doesn't make a difference. So this was so good. You can see that I was on FaceTime with my sister-in-law. We were just talking and chatting, and they live far away from us, so this is how we communicate, and we talk pretty much every day, but that's why you will see her pretty much the entire time that I'm making these brownies. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and let the video finish playing. This is it for this week's What's for Dinner. If you enjoyed it, please let me know down below and give it a thumbs up. It'll mean so much to me. Also, don't forget to make sure you're subscribed if you're not already, so you don't miss any more of my uploads. We have more recipes coming in the week. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!